Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Tuesday, January 18th, 2011. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 in Bermuda, and 10:30 a.m. in Mexico City. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-667-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. The American actor Kevin Costner is 56 years old today. I am wearing a medal. I promised my friend Greg Titterton at JLT Park in Bermuda yesterday at lunch that I would be wearing this medal. My wife and I competed in the Bermuda Half Marathon on Sunday, and I did beat 65 people. Although my time was not very good, but that means 65 people were slower than I was. My excuse is that it was difficult to train here in the frigid Northeast with snow, and even in New Jersey and the New York area today, there are very, very icy road conditions. I'm going to take the medal off so I don't look like too much of a fool, and then we'll proceed to our main news. The main news is rather substantial today. An unnamed company is apparently said to be considering buying Royal Sun Alliance for 175 pence a share. The revival of speculation that RSA Insurance could be the target of a takeover bid resulted in RSA enjoying a late rally on the blue chip index last night in London. There's market speculation that an unnamed company is considering a bid for RSA of about 175p a share. Zurich Financial Services and the Finnish insurer Sampo are some of the companies rumored to be interested in a takeover. A spokesman for Zurich refused to comment. Sampo said its company policy is not to comment. Traders said that they expected corporate activity within the insurance sector soon, and one noted that after its failed £5 billion attempt to buy Aviva last year, RSA had changed from predator to prey. In what could be another sign of an RSA purchase coming up, Willis has appointed Paul Holmes as managing director of Willis Middle East. Holmes joins Willis from RSA Insurance, where he was most recently chief executive of the company's Middle Eastern operations. He has spent 14 years in the Middle East. In the United States and around the world, some people are getting very nervous. A former Swiss banker has passed on documents allegedly detailing tax evasion attempts by hundreds of business leaders, celebrities, and politicians to the whistleblowing website WikiLeaks. Rudolf Elmer, an ex-employee of the Swiss-based private bank Julius Baer, handed over 2 CDs containing the data to Julian Assange, who is pictured holding them, the WikiLeaks founder, at a press conference in London yesterday. The disks are thought to contain details of 2,000 individuals. Elmer said that the information includes details on politicians, multinational companies, financial institutions from the US, Europe, and Asia, all secretly avoiding paying taxes. Assange promised full revelation of the data, but said it would be weeks before any of the information could be checked and published by the WikiLeaks website. Chris Monroe in the Insurance Day wrote an article today saying that the mining insurance market is braced for a raft of business interruption claims in the wake of the heavy flooding that's hit Australia in the past few weeks. Queensland alone produces around half the world's seaborne metallurgical coal used in the manufacture of steel, and it's believed that about 40 of these mines have been affected by the floods. According to the broker Lockton, coal worth something in the region of about $100 million US a day is shipped out of Queensland's port each day, and it looks like it'll be 6 more months before normal production in the area resumes. Back in 2008, flooding at mines in Australia left an insurance bill of more than $1.5 billion, with Munich Re alone facing losses of about $120 million US. Australia's Prime Minister Julia Gillard and Victoria Premier Ted Baillieu have asked Australian insurers to put policyholders ahead of shareholders when it comes to deciding whether payments due to householders as a result of the recent floods. Ms. Gillard said that she expected insurers, quote, to be generous, and told them that, quote, they should be doing the right thing by the people of Australia at a time as tough as this. Flood insurance in Australia remains sporadic, although the number of people covered has risen significantly in recent years as more accurate flood map data has become available. Let's see how that works. The Insurance Insider is announcing that Catlin Group has purchased a Wisconsin-domiciled admitted line shell company from QBE for an undisclosed sum. Catlin's American operation purchased Blue Ridge Insurance Company, named BRIC, from General Casualty Company of Wisconsin. That's wholly owned by QBE. BRIC is an admitted carrier in 22 states, including California. Jonathan Kent wrote an article in the Royal Gazette in Bermuda today saying that Bermuda-based Catalina Holdings Limited is already seeking further new purchases after buying Glacier Re last week. So says Chris Fagan, the CEO and co-founder of the 5-year-old company that specializes in acquiring companies in runoff. The acquisition of Glacier Re will substantially increase the size of Catalina's business and give them a foothold in continental Europe. Speaking with Kent, Mr. Fagan stressed that Catalina was targeting businesses with between $25 million and $500 million of capital. He said, quote, basically we're a consolidator of a series of businesses in runoff. We're a capital player. There's a lot of noise in the reinsurance runoff industry when there are a lot of players. Many of them are relatively small who manage other people's liabilities. That's not what we do. Fagan expects there to be good opportunities in the market for Catalina to make further acquisitions. He cited the EU Solvency II scheme, which would impose greater solvency requirements on insurers and will push down return on equity. He said that'll make some companies question what they're doing. The stock market in the United States is up about 66 points right now. We'll go to a word from our sponsors. Steve Jobs, the head of Apple, has announced that he's taking a new leave of absence for health reasons. Jobs made the announcement in an email to Apple staff yesterday. Apple's shares have already fallen down as much as about 6.5%, erasing up to $20 billion of Apple's market value. Jobs has been on medical leave before in 2009. It was later disclosed that he had undergone a liver transplant. Lloyd's of London will lobby the EU to lower the amount of capital that the market must hold in reserve for CATs under Solvency II. Richard Ward told the Financial Times that under Solvency II, Lloyd's would have to hold twice the amount of reserves it currently sets aside. The standard formula for calculating capital requirements under Solvency II proposals is 2 owners for global players such as Lloyd's, and Lloyd's will seek approval to use its own capital model. This is something, of course, that Swiss Re and Munich Re have been clamoring about now for over a year, so Lloyd's has finally picked this up. Tunisia, as we spotted about 2 weeks ago, in one of the first, if not the only, the first time that a popular revolt has occurred in the Arab world after chasing its president out. Tunisia's junior minister for transportation has said that he and 2 other ministers have already resigned from the newly formed coalition government. They resigned this morning. The walkout comes just a day after the Tunisian Prime Minister, the new one, announced a new unity government. His announcement was met with anger by many Tunisians who said too many of the ousted president's party remained in power. One of the 8 ministers who resigned, actually the minister who did resign was one of 8 ministers who had stayed on from the previous government. The former president, Ben Ali, has resigned, obviously, and he has fled apparently to Saudi Arabia. In New York City, there has been an 8-alarm fire. I had previously thought that 5-alarm fires were the maximum, but firefighters in New York are on the scene still of a massive 8-alarm fire at an ironworks company in the borough of Queens that's been burning now for about 30 hours. The call came in shortly after 6 p.m. Monday at the one-story JSJ Ironworks in Jamaica, Queens. The building's filled with hazardous materials caused the fire to grow rapidly overnight. Insulation and melting tar have fed the flames. Apparently there is no danger to any lives. Firefighters have been pulled out of the building when it became too dangerous to fight the flames from inside. The building was also too deep for hoses to reach all the burning spots. Well, at some point later today, you'll be seeing this picture. This is President Hu Jintao of China with President Obama. Actually, the President of China is in town in Washington today. Tomorrow evening is going to be a state dinner at the White House. Tonight he's having dinner in the private quarters with the President. There have been a couple of articles appearing in the Western press, most notably in yesterday's New York Times, suggesting that Western intelligence has spotted a seam between China's civilian leadership and its military. Most recent example of that was when the American Defense Secretary Robert Gates was in Beijing last week and actually informed the Chinese president about a test flight of the Chinese stealth fighter. The Chinese president was unaware of the activity. The big problem with U.S.-Chinese relations is always, of course, Taiwan. And here's a picture of the Taiwanese surface-to-air and air-to-air missiles being fired. Taiwan's military yesterday test-fired 19 surface-to-air and air-to-air missiles, but a quarter of them missed their targets. This raises questions about Taiwan's readiness to defend itself against the Chinese attack. Taiwanese President Ma Ying-jeou visited the Air Force base in the southern part of the country this morning to demonstrate his commitment to the maintenance of an effective Chinese deterrent, but he said the poor performance disappointed him. He said, "I'm not satisfied with the results," he told reporters when the test was concluded. "I hope the military will find out the reasons and improve its training." The missile test was the first to be held in full view of the press for almost a decade. Oh, what an embarrassment. Well, that's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.